Good afternoon, everybody. This is Adrienne Montgomery. I am here on behalf of Nuvei today, and we're going to be talking about how to unlock your cash flow and drive growth with Nuvei's invoice financing. We're catering to the Acumatica and Sage audience today. This applies to both of those ERP systems. So pleased to be joined by Kimberly Roma and Drew over at Conmon, and we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about Nuvei, the company, to start us off today, and the team over there at Nuvei to support you. We're also going to be talking about just, the basics behind invoice financing, different terminology that might be used, and why you might want to implement invoice financing, what to look out for, and why is invoice financing important? How does invoice financing work? And then why would you go with a company like Nuvei? And then we're going to finish it up with a poll and Q&A, and then we'll also share the contact information. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Kimberly. Kimberly, thank you so much over at Nuvei.
Thanks, Adrienne. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I'm excited to share a bit about Nuvei, how our partnership with Conmon works, and how it really impacts your ERP by creating financial flexibility for your business. So a little bit about Nuvei, kind of going back, we have a long, rich history in payments and ERPs. So some of you may know us better as Paya if you've been around for a while. We were originally part of Sage Group, Sage Payment Solutions, which was sold in 2017 and rebranded as Paya in 2018, which was for the reason for focusing on integrated payment processing. We expanded to process $30 billion in annual transactions for over 100,000 businesses, and offering solutions across online, in-store, mobile payments. And then in 2022, Nuvei acquired Paya for $1.3 billion, which really was a big push in strengthening its US market presence and enhancing its payment technology capabilities. I want to introduce you to some of the team. This is just some of our product experts. At the top, Rebecca Mernier runs this team, VP of B2B product, and just overall combined, they've got over 150 years of ERP experience. And really important to note that the product team is very much ERP first and payments second. So they truly understand what you do inside the ERP and then just how do payments enhance that. And then we'll dive in. This is our channel team. So you'll see some faces on here have been with the company again since it was Paya and Sage Payment Solutions. So some nice tenure here, a lot of experienced people that can really dig in deep with each of your business needs and make sure that you've got a full picture of a strong solution and a strong offering. When you're working with Nuvei, you're working with someone that you see here on the screen from the beginning of the journey and then through the life of your account. And from here, I want to pass it over to Drew from Conmon to share an in-depth look at invoice financing.
Hey, yeah, thanks. Very happy to be here. Like the team mentioned, I lead the platform experience team here at Conmon. We're the embedded lending partner that powers this invoice financing solution with Nuvei. So firstly, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what invoice financing is. To kind of start with the basics, invoice financing allows the merchant to borrow against the value of their accounts receivable. So think of it like a flexible credit line that unlocks the capital that's tied up in your unpaid invoices, helping you to cover short-term expenses and sometimes smooth out cash flow. So for example, if you're a merchant that's working with a big box retailer, you often need to wait for 60 to 90 days to get paid. Invoice financing gives those merchants the working capital upfront that they might need to produce and ship those orders. So unlike a traditional loan, it's really dynamic. You're able to use it in a kind of recurring fashion and it's tied to real-time invoice activity. So it's a really good fit for fast-growing businesses or businesses that are kind of cash constrained, whether through their size or some element of seasonality about their business. So one of the questions that we kind of get asked frequently about when talking about invoice financing is, how does this differ from factoring? Factoring is a kind of a solution that many merchants are used to, particularly in this size, that have kind of dynamic working capital needs. So we thought it'd be worth briefly sort of comparing invoice financing to invoice factoring. They do solve really similar problems, but work pretty differently. For invoice factoring, what you're doing is selling the invoice to a third-party lending company who collects directly from your customer. So basically, one way to think about that is that it really introduces another party into the relationship. That has some potential downsides in that it can raise concerns or cause some confusion with your end customers. But really, the key thing is that it adds another party into your commercial relationship with your trading partners. For invoice financing, on the other hand, it really keeps the transaction between you and us, the lender. So you retain ownership of the invoice and continue to manage your customer relationships. You're responsible for dunning with your customers, collecting on accounts receivable, but as far as like the working capital needs, you're covered because you're able to take an advance against that invoice. You have the cash in the bank to use, in the intervening period. So basically, we are able to provide a kind of revolving credit line that you can draw against as needed, while factoring requires kind of one-off approval and negotiation, typically for each invoice. In many cases, the factor company requires that the merchant take an advance on every invoice, whereas in our invoice financing solution, you're able to sort of spot advance on particular invoices, and you don't need to take the full invoice value, that kind of a thing. So the idea is that it's more merchant friendly. The process is really more predictable, and definitely more private. So there's no involvement with your customer, no manual back and forth. Which brings me to the next slide, which is really what's super exciting about our integration that we have with the Nuvei products. CamOn is a licensed commercial lender, which means we're authorized to provide credit directly to businesses. We're held to really strict compliance and regulatory standards. That licensing matters. It gives you, the merchant, confidence that you're really working with a trusted, transparent lending partner. What's exciting here is that we partnered with Nuvei to embed financing directly into your ERP workflow. So it's built into the tools that you already use. The way that this works is that you enable invoice financing in the ERP. This is important because it kind of kicks off the whole workflow here. You answer a couple of qualification questions. The business owner will fill out a really simple application. There's no kind of manual paperwork. Everything is entirely digital. And then we hold ourselves to a 48-hour turnaround on offers. Typically, that's much shorter. It's typically within one business day. So if you are qualified, we provide an offer with financing terms that are tailored to your business. That includes a credit limit and repayment plans that are associated with your application. And then you're all ready and off to the races. So directly inside of your ERP, you are able to choose the invoices that you want to finance. We fund the capital directly to your bank account using same-day ACH. So it arrives in your account typically within the same day. And then when repayment happens on the due date, we will automatically collect repayment from you. So there's no kind of manual intervention required. We keep you up to date on the status of all your financing through a series of reports and ongoing customer communications. And then finally, Nuvei's integration is really awesome because it kind of handles all of the accounting entries automatically. So you don't need to worry about posting loan proceeds, balances, fees, things like this. All of this is like automatically, there's an automatic GL entry for you. So really a cool product. We think it's a great fit for merchants that are facing these kinds of cash flow challenges, with certainly in today's kind of economic environment is something that we hear is pretty important for businesses. So I'll kick it back over to the Nuvei team to talk a little bit more about availability.
Thanks, Drew. Yeah, I would just highlight off of the last slide that invoice financing is currently available across several ERP platforms. I know we have kind of a mixed audience today, so I want to make sure you know that if whichever ERP you're working in, we have invoice financing that can integrate into it. So it includes Sage 100 and Acumatica, and then separately kind of think about Sage 50, 300, Intact, Dynamics BC, NetSuite, and QuickBooks Online when it's paired with our Commerce Suite. If you're looking to add invoice financing to your toolbox, we have a dedicated ERP sales team. We can support both our partner of our partners and merchants. So if you're one of our incredible VAR partners, you just have to reach out to your dedicated account manager. If you're a merchant, your inside sales rep can walk you through those options. But if you're not sure who to contact, this email here up on the screen, erp@nuvei.com, and we'll get you connected. So, and then just over on the right, you know, as we show here, we support you through the entire process from initial demo and needs analysis, implementation, training, and then of course, ongoing support. I just want to say to everyone before we wrap up, thank you again for your time. And our team would definitely love the opportunity to talk through your specific business needs and how this can be an added value to what you're already doing. But our product team, like I said, they're ERP first, payment second. So they've worked in the ERP for decades, truly understand how it works and how payments enhances your ERP. Our fully integrated AR system means you improve your cash flow, reduce errors, increase efficiencies and cost, and it ensures strong security and compliance. Our Commerce Suite solution is here to take your AR game to the next level with functionality that will strengthen and streamline your everyday processes. And when you work with Nuvei, our team will continue to provide through the life of the account dedicated support specialists to assist with any issues you come across, ongoing enhancements to maximize system efficiency. And today's webinar is a great example of this. And then, of course, a long-time partnership that ensures you continue to receive value. So we're not just onboarding customers, we're supporting you guys for the life of your account, making sure that you have long-term success and satisfaction.
Great job, you guys. Please reach out to Kimberly directly if you have any questions after the webinar. I did record this webinar, and I will be sending out the recording to everyone who registered. And we wanted to thank you for spending your time with us today. We know it's hard to come by. We really appreciate you being with us, and we hope to see you on a future webinar. Thank you so much, Kimberly and Drew. Appreciate your time. Very informative. And everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.